When you hear climate-smart architecture, what do you picture? You're probably thinking of shiny glass towers, solar panels, all kinds of high-tech gadgets, right? But what if the most advanced, most sophisticated design ideas aren't new at all? What if they're actually built from things like mud, bamboo, and stone, and have been perfected over centuries in places like Northeast India?
So let's just start with that big idea. What if our modern hunt for green, sustainable buildings has been looking in completely the wrong direction? In this explainer, we're going to dive into how ancient builders created structures that work in perfect harmony with their environment, all without using a single watt of electricity.
You know, the key to understanding all this is a concept called vernacular architecture. Now, this isn't about famous architects with some grand, flashy vision. Not at all. This is about the wisdom of everyday people, using whatever materials they have locally and passing down knowledge, generation after generation, tweaking and perfecting it to create buildings that just work.
And the science behind all this traditional wisdom? Well, it actually has a modern name, bioclimatism. The easiest way to think about it is it's the art of designing a building to work with the climate, not constantly fighting against it. The whole point is to be comfortable naturally, using clever, passive tricks for heating and cooling instead of just plugging in some power-hungry machine. Okay, so for this deep dive, we are heading to Northeast India. And it's the perfect real-world laboratory for this stuff because it packs 3 completely different climate zones into one region. Each zone presents its own unique architectural puzzle, and, as you'll see, each has its own absolutely ingenious solution.
Let's start our journey in Zone 1, the warm and humid lowlands. Down here, the main challenge for builders isn't about staying warm. Heck no. It's all about staying cool and dry in a climate that's just defined by relentless heat and moisture.
And this warm, humid zone, it covers a huge part of the region, including a lot of the state of Assam. So the architecture here has to be incredibly clever, not just to survive the weather, but to actually make life comfortable inside.
So what exactly are these builders up against? Well, just look at these numbers. We're talking summer temps pushing 35 degrees Celsius, sure, but that's combined with this oppressive humidity that can soar up to 90%. It's not just the heat you feel, it's that thick, heavy, wet air that just sticks to you.
The solution is so elegant. You build houses that can breathe. The architecture here is all about one thing: ventilation, ventilation, ventilation. You can see how the entire building is designed to create a constant cross breeze to keep air moving, which wicks away all that moisture and gives you this wonderful natural cooling effect.
And here's where the material science gets really fascinating. They use this local mortar made from crushed brick, it's called cirque, to build these incredibly thick walls. And the genius is right here in the numbers. A wall this thick creates a thermal time lag of 10 to 15 hours. So what does that mean? It means the hottest part of the afternoon sun doesn't actually warm up the interior until the middle of the night, long after it's cooled down outside. It's basically a natural, slow-release air conditioner. How cool is that?
And the clever design doesn't stop there. See these deep roof overhangs? They act like a giant wide-brimmed hat for the house, shielding the walls from both the blistering sun and those heavy monsoon rains. And then there's this central courtyard, which is a really common feature. It's more than just a nice place to hang out, it's an engine for cooling. It creates this reservoir of shaded, cool air that helps ventilate the entire home.
Okay, now let's completely shift climates. We're moving up into the cool and humid zone. Here, the temperature drops, but the humidity, and believe it or not, it gets even more intense.
So we're moving into the hillier regions now. As the environment changes, of course the architecture has to adapt right along with it. And the solutions here are just as brilliant.
So here's the new challenge. The summer temperatures are milder, yeah, but the humidity is just off the charts. We're talking up to 95%. In that kind of environment, trapping moisture inside your walls is a recipe for disaster. Dampness, rot, the whole thing. So the architectural priority has to shift completely. It's not about blocking heat anymore, it's about managing moisture.
And the local solution is truly, truly ingenious. The walls are built from this woven bamboo frame, which is then plastered with what they call processed mud. It's a special mix that includes cow dung and straw. This creates a wall that is porous and breathable. It literally acts like a natural Gore-Tex membrane for the house, absorbing extra moisture from the air and then releasing it when things get drier.
I mean, this comparison says it all. The walls here are dramatically thinner than in the warm zone. They aren't designed for thermal mass anymore. Their number one job is now breathability and moisture management, a perfect example of adapting form to a completely new function. All right, for our final stop, we are climbing way up into the high-altitude regions. Here, in the cold and cloudy zone, the whole architectural game flips on its head. The challenge is no longer about staying cool, it's about capturing and holding on to every single precious bit of warmth.
So, we are now in the highlands. The landscape is more rugged, the air is thinner, and the climate is way less forgiving. Up here, smart design isn't a luxury, it's about survival.
This is the new reality. With winter temperatures dipping down to just 5 degrees Celsius and a short, cool summer, the design priority becomes crystal clear. Minimize heat loss and maximize any heat gain you can possibly get. The home has to become a warm, insulated sanctuary from that biting cold.
And the solution is both elegant and incredibly practical. Houses are built from local stone, which is everywhere, and the thick walls provide amazing insulation. But look closer at the other features. The windows are small to reduce heat loss, the ceilings are low to keep the warm air down where you are, and the whole structure is compact to minimize the surface area that's exposed to the cold.
These homes have these passive heating strategies just built right into their DNA. First, the floors are elevated on wooden planks, which creates this insulating air gap from the freezing ground. Second, that compact layout we just saw minimizes heat escape. And finally, and this is so crucial, homes are always oriented on south-facing slopes, so they can soak up every last ray of sun during those short winter days.
So after traveling through these 3 totally different zones, what can all this ancient wisdom teach our modern world? Let's zoom out and connect these principles to the very urgent needs of today's architecture.
So what does this all boil down to? It's a set of timeless principles, really, and they're just as relevant for a modern skyscraper as they are for a mud hut. Use local low-impact materials. Design with the climate, not against it. Create buffer zones. Harness what nature gives you for free, air and sunlight. Adapt your form to the function. And build in a way that's in harmony with the local culture. It's a whole-picture approach to building. So why does any of this really matter today? Because the potential impact is absolutely enormous. Research shows that energy-efficient, climate-responsive building design, the very principles we've just been looking at, could cut carbon emissions from the building sector by staggering 60%. This isn't just a history lesson, it's a roadmap to a sustainable future, and it's written in mud and stone. So, we'll leave you with this question. Your home is a shield, right? It protects you from the elements. But just take a moment to think about it. Is it just a shield, or is it a smart, responsive partner that actually works with your local climate? The wisdom in these ancient walls suggests it absolutely can be.